Hey guys, Max here, the Celeb Talk guy, and in today's video, we have an exclusive interview with AJ and Steph from Married at First Sight Season 8. Guys, it is so juicy, it was so much fun, I know you guys are going to love it. And before we jump into the interview, I want to give a quick shout out to Married at First Sight Couples Cam. If you guys haven't already heard of Couples Cam, it's a new Married at First Sight series with 9 couples from the previous seasons, and it is premiering on May 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time every single Wednesday. It is going to be a blast. I am so excited. So without further ado, let's jump right into this amazing interview, and make sure to put in the comments below what you thought of the interview. Steph and AJ from Married at First Sight Season 8. Welcome, 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 guys. I've said it so many times already. I am a super fan. You guys are right there at the top of my list, and I have so many questions I am dying to ask you guys. From, starting off with where the relationship's at, it looks like it's going amazingly well from what we can see. Kids, work, coronavirus, so much stuff I want to jump into. And I also want to jump into Married at First Sight. So let's just start off with, we just finished season 10. Did you guys watch it? What'd you guys think?
Season 10 was a rough one.
It was crazy.
I mean, it's kind of close to home to me because it was filmed in DC and I'm born and raised in Baltimore. So I feel like I was a little more personally vested in this one.
Yeah.
And 1 out of 5 couples to make it, I was pretty bummed about it. It was just like a lot of crazy stuff going on that I don't think anyone really expected. And also as a super fan of the show that I am, like, I just hope for success, and so it was just really rough to watch.
What'd you think, AJ?
It was rough for me because I don't necessarily become a fan of couples. I become a fan of the individuals, or not so much. I understand couples, they can have their differences, they cannot connect, things like that, and that's one thing. But once you disrespect the actual process and the actual experiment itself, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, this past season, I saw that a little bit more so than in the past.
Yeah, like Zach never moving in.
Zach,
you got to move in. Why would you move in?
There was just a lot of wows. Like, wow, I can't believe they're disrespecting the entire experiment and the process like that.
Well, see, and you guys know firsthand. That's why I'm so curious. Like Zach, perfect example. Even Brandon, we can talk about Zach. He was texting, Mindy's friend. And you guys at your wedding, he said that they exchanged numbers at the wedding. Is that even like I feel like he really had to go out of his way you're at your wedding, you just met the person, and next thing you know, it's like, it just seems so odd.
Every year or every season, the experiment advances, including the contracts. The one from season 8 was probably very different from the one for season 10. For us, there was no phones at our wedding. Everybody, including us, had to relinquish their phones and not have them for basically 12 hours.
Well, how did he did he write his number on a piece of paper?
I don't remember, but
maybe. I don't know.
I mean, there was, for our season, there was no clause. I mean, they said that we had to relinquish our phones, but I think social media and all that, it was.
Yeah, I think the point is, right, like, it's a very odd process. People, you're going on TV and you're doing this, but you don't really know what you're getting yourself into because none of us are actors. None of us have been on TV before. You don't really know.
Right.
And it can make you do some strange things that you don't think you would normally do. Right. However, you have to put your spouse first. And if him getting a number from her friend was secretive, it shows that he's not trustworthy, even if it was in good heart to say, you know what, I just want to know more about my spouse, so let me get her best friend's number so I can talk about my spouse. I mean, we wouldn't do that to each other because we think that's weird.
Who would do that when you just meet somebody on the very first day at the altar? You're not like, oh, well, I want some inside information on them. I want firsthand information about you first.
Right.
And then I might start asking your friends after I learn about you directly.
So what they think they're doing is okay when the other one thinks it's not okay. Whether it's right or wrong, that's not what you need to figure out. You just need to make sure you discuss it with each other. And the fact that they didn't discuss it clearly means something was being hidden and it was wrong.
So that was odd. And then we slide over to Brandon and Taylor, and they were in the same boat of just bizarre, craziness.
They were
hot mess express.
Both of them are just as bad as the other. I don't think one person was worse in that situation. Brandon was more physically aggressive, so he would appear to be worse. But I mean, she was just as disrespectful to the process, to everybody at hand, including him, as he was to her and everybody. So I don't really see the difference. I mean, it was just different ways of being disrespectful.
There's no way either of you two would have posted an Instagram story like that when you guys were in a fight like Taylor did. No way. That was extremely disrespectful. But I thought, on the other hand, with Brandon, he was doing bizarre stuff. And I just don't understand. You guys know, like you said, you're going to be on a TV show. Why was he so shocked? Is the process that grueling, that intense, that hard?
I think I can speak to this possibly a little bit better because I went through it like Brandon did. It's not, everybody says, oh, you know what you signed up for. You know what you signed up for. Yes, we signed up for reality TV. That's a very, very broad thing. You don't know what to expect. You expect the unexpected, but it's also because they want that raw reaction from you. It's very secretive. They don't let you know. You know, it's just them. It's more of a documentary or docuseries. They're filming you, and you don't have any idea what's going on. So it all depends on how you handle the situations.
Yeah, you really have to adapt because you're not necessarily in control. And some people may feel like if they're not in control of a situation, they just lose everything and they freak out. Mm-hmm. And I think like you really have to be comfortable with just taming it down and realizing, look, I can't control this, but I can control how I react to it. And so you just really have to refocus in that moment. And so it's harder for other people than some.
Yeah, like I act on impulse. And I feel like Brandon was the same way.
Then, we have Katie and Derek. I loved this couple from the start. I thought they were going to make it, and they just slowly went downhill. What's your guys' take?
I agree. Like when I first saw them, I was so excited. They were so cute together. Yeah. But it was like watching a slow car crash. Like
they're like in slow motion.
Like,
as the car goes over the cliff, you see it slowly go into the water.
And they had such cute moments, like with the diabetes thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a shame. But I guess if you're not a match, you just know it, even if you can't really explain it.
I guess so. What'd you think, AJ?
I mean, I related to him. I'm a dreamer, and I liked them as a couple initially. And then from what we saw, there's always more to the story, but from what I saw, that she was just kind of robbing him of his dreams or stealing them from him or kind of diminishing them. Now, I don't know if that is the full case, but and that hit home. That kind of,
Yeah.
I know how I'd feel if she told me one day, oh, that dream you have, never going to happen.
I'm a very free spirit, love to travel, love to try new things. So like, I totally understand Derek and I feel like we could be besties. Mm-hmm. So like, I was totally with him the whole time, but I also understand Katie's point of view because some women just want to be able to settle down and have like a sturdy relationship. And some women don't think that someone flying around and doing all these things that seem whimsical isn't sturdy. Yeah. So again, it depends on your point of view.
I mean, I said it from day one, the very first episode, she was talking about her ex at her bachelorette party. And for me, that's a no-no. When coming into this, you should have zero baggage. I've said it before. I believe that it should be a rule that you have to be single for a minimum of 1 year. And that may be a long time standing, but nobody wants to come into this experiment bringing baggage, and nobody wants that other person's baggage. And that's exactly what she did. I think she was flip-flopping back and forth between the ex and the current for a while at the beginning.
Yeah. And then with the topic of baggage, I have to talk about Mika and Michael. Same thing. I loved them. I thought Michael seemed like such an awesome guy to hang around. He was cool. He's nice. But he was bringing so much stuff with the relationship of you didn't know if it was true, if it was honest, and same thing. I just slowly didn't know if I could trust the guy. What was your guys' take on that relationship?
I've got a theory about Michael. You can go first. I always play devil's advocate.
I love Mika. I relate to her really well as being like a very boss lady woman in your job and your career and wanting to own things because that's exactly who I am and him.
I liked her from the start.
Yeah, we both just kind of clicked with her watching it. But like, I also got this vibe from Michael that he was trying to be genuine. He just maybe didn't know himself very well, so he couldn't portray a good version of himself to her. I think in order to be successful on this experiment, you really have to know who you are and what your problems are. And I don't think he knew that about himself. So it caused him to lie.
And I think he treated it more when he went in, not expecting or meaning to lie, but for instance, on a first date, everybody kind of exaggerates a little bit. You make yourself look better. And that, you make a little bit more money than you really do. You give yourself a little extra title at your current job or something like that, just to make yourself seem more desirable. And I think that's how it started. He may have just kind of bent the truth a little bit to put himself on her level, if maybe that's what he thought he was doing. And it just kind of snowballed. Yeah. All of a sudden, now he's lying about everything, or bending the truth, I should say. And there's nothing you can do about it, all because it started with him just wanting to impress her.
Yeah, I think he wanted to impress her. As a man, I would guess, like, you don't want to feel inferior to your wife, right? Like,
it's not that you want to,
he may have felt that way, which caused him to.
Not only to your wife, to 8 million people watching. Yeah. You want to kind of, it's a.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I agree. That's exactly this kind of thing I was thinking with Michael, because he seemed, and he still does seem, like a really nice, fun guy. I think he was kind of just stretching the truth, and it went on and on and on. Yeah. Before we wrap up about season 10, we have to talk about what the heck went down on that podcast interview. I heard it. Me and my friends were going crazy.
I know what you're talking about.
No one is really talking about this. You go on Reddit, you go on YouTube, no one even saw this. So I wanted to talk about this because this is so bizarre. AJ did a podcast interview, and there was a guest on it. And AJ, you can kind of just take it from there.
So when I came into the interview, it was all audio on the phone. They let me know that they had a super fan that was also going to be joining us. So I was excited. I love talking and engaging with fans of the show or followers, things like that. And they said, we have super fan Reed here. And which I found in the beginning, because it's few and far between you find male super fans, and it's even fewer and further between that they call in to talk to you on a podcast. So like, it didn't click. I wasn't thinking anything about it. And he was very standoffish. And I initially thought, okay, maybe he's just a little tongue-tied. He's on a podcast he's a super fan of the show. Like, I was kind of letting it get to my head. I was like, this guy really likes AJ. He gets his words out. So, and it was weird, but it wasn't weird enough to set off any red flags to me. He was talking, but he wasn't. The one thing that stands out is that he said something like, what about that guy, Brandon?
Yeah.
But then we said something, and I'm not one to really bash too hard. But we said something, and he didn't really have a chance to defend himself. I don't know. So I had no idea. The host of the podcast had no idea it was him until hours after I get a phone call. He's like, hey, my wife was just listening to the podcast, and she's like, that's Brandon. I'm like, is it? And I was like, going back, and now the light bulb turns on top of my head. I'm like, the voice. Yeah. His name was Reed. I mean, that's not very original. And I was like, wow. But to this day, I still have no idea what his angle was. He didn't defend himself. He wasn't aggressive. He didn't try to ask me questions to get any sensitive information. He was just kind of a lump on a log in that interview. Threw in a word every once in a while. So I'm just going to take it that he really is a super fan of AJ.
Maybe that's the case. So bizarre. And it was so odd that no one even picked up on it. And that's why I want to bring light to that just bizarre situation, because it was funny, it was hilarious, and it was just strange.
It was a relatively new podcast, so I don't think it had a lot of listeners.
Well, hopefully we can bring some attention to it. People from Married at First Sight can check it out, because it was really funny. And then when you listen back to it, you can just clearly hear it's his voice.
Yeah, I've listened back to it a few times. I'm like, definitely him.
Yeah.
But again, why? We still have no idea why.
No idea. Either way, let's backpedal a little bit to your guys' season. Was there anything, that you guys can talk about that you didn't think was portrayed about you guys accurately on the show?
I mean, I've had viewers, they either like me or they hate me. There's no in between. You know, there's no like, I don't know how I feel about that guy AJ. It's either, oh, he's so funny, love the dad jokes, love his awesome personality, or, you know, like, so I think, I don't know, I would have liked to get some of it, shown more of my comedic humor, that side of me, the lighter side. But no, I think it was relatively accurate. There's just a lot missing.
Yeah. What about you, Steph?
Yeah, they can't show everything. It's unrealistic, right? So they just show kind of like what's relevant. I guess the only thing that I missed too was also showing like kind of a funny side of me. I am pretty loud in real life.
Yeah, you talk a lot.
I feel like he would like over talk me a lot, but then I over talk him. So,
but they didn't really show a lot of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
we do have like a really good communication. But I think that's evident in the fact that we stayed together, right? So I don't think it really matters like maybe what's shown or what's not shown, because you can't change the end result. And look.
And, you know, going into your guys' season, I know, were you guys both fans of the show, or was it completely new? How did you guys discover this?
Really me.
Process?
Complete opposite answers.
He's never ever seen the show. He didn't know it.
I don't watch reality TV.
I've been the biggest super fan since season 1. It's been like my favorite show since I've been watching on the couch with my old roommates. Like Ashley and Anthony were always like my biggest celebrity fans. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're the best.
Now they're on your speed dial.
So is cool. When I saw they were coming to Philly, actually one of my friends applied for the show, and I stole it off of her Facebook because she said, oh, I'm applying, and she broadcasted it. I'm like, oh my God, they're coming to Philly. I'm applying and I'm not telling a soul.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell anyone until like it started getting really close to the end. I was like, oh my God, I
didn't believe
I got a good chance in the running here.
Well, what's your story, AJ?
So I'm not really a fan of reality TV or anything like that. And I actually applied. A friend of mine works for owns a marketing company that works with the network. And is very familiar with the show. And she told me about it. She's like, oh my gosh, you'd be great for it. I've spent, I was single for 5 years, dedicated toward building my company. And she's like, this would be perfect for you. I've known her since college, one of my good friend's wives. And so I signed up, and I didn't really know too much about it. I kind of went on her word. I didn't know it was city specific. And they were in Miami at the time. So it was a full year and a half prior. And I signed up and kind of, out of sight, out of mind after that. And whatever, I signed up for reality TV. I did it for Real World and Road Rules, and I still haven't heard back. So, and then I get a phone call in, I don't know, January or February of 2008.
Yeah, like 2 years later.
Yeah, like a year and a half later. And they're like, hey, is this AJ? And it was an LA number. And I remember it was like 10 o'clock on a Friday night, my time, but it's only 7 o'clock LA. So I'm like, who's calling me from LA? And I answered. They're like, oh, this is so-and-so from Married at First Sight. You applied. We're coming to Philly. Wanted to know 2 questions. A, are you still single? And B, are you still interested? And I said yes to both of them. Wow. And I entered the process a lot earlier than you did. I was probably, because I think they probably reach out to past applicants that are in that city first before they actually go and do the marketing around town. And so I entered into the process, I think it was like late February, and you didn't sign up until what, June or July?
I think I applied in like May.
Wow. And then Steph, you walk down the aisle, you see AJ, he's got his big smile, he's all happy. You guys both live in Philly. You've never ran into each other. You had no idea. Seriously.
We've crossed paths. We're only one.
We lived 1 mile apart. I'll tell you, like, I wanted to be married so bad but I'm such a city person. I don't like the burb life. I love going out to bars and restaurants and the social atmosphere. I was mentally preparing myself to marry someone who lived in the burbs because I figured there's literally no one in the city that could be matched with me. I would have met them already. And I was like mentally preparing, oh my gosh,
thanks, experts.
I'm going to be in the burbs. This is going to suck, but I want to be married. I'm going to deal with it. So the first thing when I realized when we met, we realized we both lived in the city, a mile apart from each other.
Yeah.
It was like a weight lifted off my shoulders, and I was singing hallelujah. I couldn't believe I got to stay in the city.
When we brought groups of friends together, we realized that we have friends that are direct friends with each other. So we're only 1 degree of separation. We've frequented the same bars, the same places.
The same bartenders knew us separately.
Same bartenders knew us separately.
No way.
Yeah, so we can't say definitely, but more than likely we've crossed paths. It just until we put on the altar together, we didn't recognize each other.
And it's funny because like the week before you get married, you're walking down the streets of Philly, like looking at
everything. Is that my wife?
Is that my husband? Is that my husband? Is that?
Well, you guys are awesome. This is so cool. Now let's fast forward to present day. So much going on, coronavirus, this and that, life. You guys clearly seem happy. How is it going with your relationship? Where are you guys at? What is going on? I see a lot of travel. Can you fill us in on, how's life right now?
So life from filming end till before Corona was awesome. We got in a lot of traveling. We went to Australia for our 1-year anniversary. We immediately we took a trip for ourselves after honeymoon ended, after the filming ended, as like a congrats to each other. We went to South Africa and we did a safari off the waterfalls in Zimbabwe.
We did in our first year, I did the math. We did 6 vacations, 11 different countries, and 23 different flights.
Wow.
One of my requirements was he had to get scuba certified to stay married to me. So that was the first thing we did, was he got him certified, and we went scuba diving with the hammerhead sharks.
We can't talk to each other under there.
Yeah. How is work with life and coronavirus? How have you guys adapted to all that stuff?
Yeah, so for me, my office closed over a month ago, so I've been working from home 100%, but the amount of work hasn't changed. I'm still doing like 50, 60-hour weeks, maybe more, because this is our busy time of the year for consulting and accounting right now. It's busy.
He just took over my office.
Yeah, I literally, because he worked from home, and I just took his office over because I'm on meetings and calls all day long.
Because I stopped working literally overnight. I went from all my clients doing interviews and hiring to stop right there. Nobody was interviewing, nobody was hiring, for very good reason, obviously, but it really just overnight I had nothing to do. And that was the first time as a business owner, I felt taken back, like what's wrong? It's scary. I have nothing to do. There's always something to do, even if it's not directly related to calling candidates. And I was just high and dry. So
it's a scary time, but like I was saying earlier, it just brings us to a great time with your new book. It's an awesome transition into it. HowToNotGetHired.com.
Yeah, got it right here.
Tell us about the book. What is the deal with this?
So owning a staffing agency, plus I've been in recruiting and staffing for a long time. And I've always collected the funny resumes I get, the ones that make me laugh at my desk, whether it be ridiculous edits or just funny stuff. And I've always saved them and threw them into a manila envelope that said funny resumes on it, handwritten. And I'd show my friends. And over the course of 5 or 6 years, that manila envelope got pretty thick, about 100, 150 resumes. And my friends started coming over and would ask me, hey, let me see those resumes. You get any new ones? My friends would ask me, hey, text me a picture of a funny resume. And there was a lot of interest, but I still had no idea. And then one day my friend was like, you should turn these into a coffee table book. And that was it.
It's a great idea for a coffee table book. It's a perfect idea.
It's got illustrations now, so it's not just the funny resumes. It's always funny. It's also funny interview stories. A ton of those. Urinating Eugene, Peter's man, sitting right at my desk. So there's funny stories, there's illustrations, but it's helpful. It teaches you what to do by seeing what went horribly wrong for everybody else. So inadvertently, it is a self-help book as well.
Yeah.
Bringing humor to it.
Yeah. Well, I think you're, for sure, if you're not the most accomplished, you're definitely the funniest. You have to be the funniest one to ever come on this show. I always thought you were hilarious.
Yes.
So, guys, HowToNotGetHired.com. I'm going to put a link below this video. You guys got to go check it out. Make sure to support AJ. Great book. We've heard great things about it. Guys, seriously, thank you so much for coming on. Any last comments, social media you want to shout out or anything before we sign off?
Well, we are starting May or March. What are we in May? I'm forgetting the months now, not just the days. Starting May 20th, we're Couples Cam.
Yeah, so check out Lifetime starting May 20. We'll be on Couples Cam, which is more, it's self-shot, wife in quarantine. And then you can check out me. I'm Philly Steph on Instagram. And what's yours?
AJ_Vollmuller.
Yeah, I'll put a link below to everyone if they don't already follow you guys. We're all going to be here for Couples Cam.
Will be a lot of fun. It's all self-shot. Everybody keeps asking me, AJ, you had a problem being in front of the cameras. It wasn't the cameras. I love being in front of the camera. So yeah, we have a lot of fun doing this. You really get to see my comedic side, and all the dad jokes are coming out left and right. Non-stop cornball AJ.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I just can't even tell you guys how much I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your night to come here. We all appreciate it. All my followers, subscribers. Thank you guys so much. And for everyone listening, thank you so much. Put in the comments below what you guys think, and stay tuned for many more.
See you later.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Max.